Well, hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Improve with Apollo, the show where I try to help out the community, the StarCraft community of course, who are having problems improving while playing the game. Whether it be simple stuff like scouting, building the right units, understanding what your opponent's doing, whatever your problem is, I'm here to hopefully identify exactly what it is and tell you how to improve on it. That's what the show's all about. And today we have another player who is struggling to be better in StarCraft, and that's why I'm here to help him out. He goes by the name of Alex, and he's from the United Kingdom, and as you can see is a Zerg player, and currently plays in Gold League after returning back into StarCraft 2, and hasn't actually played for a very, very long time, but is trying to get right back into it, and is having problems with the deathball, as you can see on screen right now. So let's take a closer look at his email, just to kind of have a look and what kind of stuff that he wanted me to more precisely look upon. So here we have his email. Of course, this is Alex, 22 from the United Kingdom, playing in Gold League. I've recently come back into StarCraft 2 for the first time since Heart of the Swarm came out, and I've been struggling with Zerg versus Protoss. I'm basically trying to mirror a build I saw Jaedong do with fast Hydralisks, and then I try to harass with mutalisks. I feel I've been winning the game until he just attacks with the deathball, which I cannot engage with Hydra and Muta, and just die. I hope you can help. Well, yes sir, that is my job, and I shall try my best. Okay, so let's take a quick look at this game. So we currently have the army that he's built up throughout the game, which many of you can probably relate to. Roach and Hydralisks with decent upgrades, and we've got a bit of mutalisk harassment going on, and some emergency corruptors coming into the game to help deal with this army right here. But if you look at it, at the Protoss army, you're like, yeah, that's actually a pretty good army. That's 4 Colossus, 5 Void Rays, a bunch of Zealots and Stalkers. And then you've got the Zerg army. And I think anybody, whatever level you are at in StarCraft 2, can pretty much say, yeah, I think this is going to be really difficult for the Zerg player. But it's not that simple. And I think that a lot of people, when learning and trying to improve in StarCraft, will fast forward throughout the game and be like, all right, let me look at that one fight that I lost. How could I do it better? And then you'll get to this point and you'll be like, all right, yeah, I messed up with my corruptors, sure. But still, even with the corruptors and my Roach Hydras and my Mule's going to do anything? Well, the simple answer is no, they're not. But you're not looking in the right areas here. You need to rewind it from the beginning of the game to pick out other areas that you could have improved on throughout the game to avoid it being in this situation in the first place. And that's what I'm going to do with Alex. So let's go ahead and rewind the replay right to the very beginning. And I've looked at this already, and I've gone through a couple of pointers that I want to walk you guys through at home. Hopefully you can improve with Alex at the same time here. So first of all, I just want to kind of set the mood a little bit, set the scene. So Alex likes to copy Jaedong and likes to kind of play his style and copy his build. So one of the big problems I'll point out straight away for anybody trying to improve from the lower leagues and above, and in Gold League, for example, where Alex is right now, you have to keep in consideration that some of the things and some of the moves that pro players pull off aren't going to work the same way that they do when he plays against professional players. And the first thing that really stands out for me in this game is that Alex goes for a hatchery first against a Protoss player. And some of you may be doing the same because it's actually very common in the professional scene right now. But it's not the best thing for you to be doing in Gold League. And the main reason for that is there is going to be a lot more cannon rushes, there's going to be a lot more early aggression, and it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to hold off while going hatchery first. So as you can see in this game, Alex is deciding to go hatchery first without getting any information on what his opponent's doing. For all Alex knows, there could be double gateways on the natural expansion, which means there's going to be a bunch of zealots coming towards him and the game's over, because it's going to be too difficult for him to defend. So already this kind of type of play is going to cause anybody, not just Alex on screen, but any Zerg player, a couple of losses immediately. And even though you'll say to yourself, damn it, he beat me with that 2-gate. You know, it doesn't happen very often, but he got me. But you shouldn't be losing to that ever. And in this regard, you may. So I would prefer and suggest going over to spawn and pull first, then hatchery. It's pretty much safer. The next point I want to go into now, at the 3-minute mark here, the first overlord in the game spots the forging cannon. So you can say to yourself, okay, I'm not getting cannon rushed, But he's going for 2 bases, which means I'm not really going to be rushed anytime soon, because obviously with his structures at the front of the wall here, he's looking to take this base quite fast. But one thing as me, and that I, when watching this earlier, saw, was, what's this? Why is this here? That's not a pylon. It's way too early for a gateway to be built. What? So I would, for me, already be confused. And usually when I go through these replays, I like to put myself in someone else's position and what would I have done? Or as many jokes were made over the last couple of WCS broadcasts or Intel Stream Masters broadcasts, what would innovation have done? What would innovation do here? But we have the Overlord, and the first thing I would have done here is actually take a bit of a south track down to this location here. First of all, if your opponent's going for a forging cannon, there's no way ever he's going to have a stalker out in time to kill your Overlord, so there's no need to be worried about it. And also, down in this position, you're not in any danger of the cannon, of course, reaching the Overlord, right? So you could quite safely come in and be like, wait a minute, are you trying to take this expansion or are you not? And that would have been one of the first things I'd thought about here, because if he isn't, then it would change our game plan a little bit. It would mean that I would be trying to play a little bit more cautiously. It would mean that maybe he isn't going to take it at all. I don't know what these Gold League players are going to do. I don't know what the Lower League players are going to do. And that's the way you should approach the game too. So back at home, we had the hatchery, then spawning pool, then the extractor, which is coming in kind of early, which is always nice to have here. Getting Zergling speed is nice. This Overlord inside the main base, his gas is taken too, and I definitely feel that this is going to be a really, really late Nexus. But what's the reason for it? Is it because Dr. Spartanic doesn't really know what he's doing, or does he have something specific planned that could win him the game? So alarm bells for me as a Zerg player are already starting to ring. So let's have a look at this Overlord on the natural. This is going to have a look for the expansion, right? Okay, cool. So we see the expansion, and this is how you should be, Alex, if you're watching this, which you should be, looking at how things are shaping up for the Protoss player, and hopefully what I'm saying is should be your thought process, because it's very important as a Zerg player, the reactionary player, to get the information necessary. So with seeing the late Nexus, I would be like, huh, that's kind of freaky, that's kind of weird, okay. All right, that's a little bit late. So what does that mean? Not much for now, because it's not. He went forge, cannon, gateway, but we've got to be kind of thinking that there could be some form of aggression potentially possible from this guy who's rushed out his tech rather than his economy. So at this point now, let's have a look at you, what you've done. You've got Zergling speed on the way, 2 queens on the way. You've got 1 queen already out, 2 queens out. Zergling speed. So at this point, I actually really like your position. I think you're in a really solid position. You've got 2 Overlords in fantastic places. You've got 1 outside the main base, which he can see but cannot kill. It'll get pushed back. You've got another one on the natural too, which you can poke around and have a look too, while having 4 Zerglings outside his main base, Zergling speed on the way, and a pretty good setup to be building lots of drones. So from this point, I would only be building drones. There's no reason to build Zerglings right now. You've got 4 outside his main base, and like you said, you've got those 2 Overlords too. So every little bit of lava you have when you're not supply capped, which you're not, you're building an Overlord perfectly timed, you're doing great. So far, I think you're in excellent shape. 35 supply to 26. You're in great shape. You're doing really, really well at this point, and I would be very happy if I was in your position too. The next thing that I would be starting to think about, usually around the 6-minute mark. Let's just go to 6 minutes. You've droned quite intensively now. You've got 29 drones to 23. You have an income lead over your opponents. Maybe not the gas lead because you're not focused on it, but definitely minerals, which is very good for you, especially because his Nexus is not even completed. At this point, I would be starting to wonder, okay, at the 6-minute mark is around about when tech should be coming into play. It usually is going to be around 6 minutes and 30 seconds-ish, depending on what he does. But remember, he seems to have gone for the gateway and cybercore earlier in this game because of his later Nexus, which means whatever he's going to choose is going to be earlier. So as me right now, I'm like, okay, yeah, I will take my 3rd base. This is a good thing to do, absolutely. But I also want to know what he's doing. Do I drone more? Am I starting to build a lot of Zerglings, or maybe thinking about getting a Roach Warren down? So at this point, this Overlord for me would absolutely be going in, and I'm saying, sorry, bro, you need to get some info for me. You're going to probably die, but you got to go. And this guy the same. I will be sending this overlord this direction. So bottom left of that green box to the top right where my arrow is. So over here. And I'd be looking in this area with this overlord. And this one, I would just go straight in. Maybe somewhere here. And if nothing's there, then I would poke up to the right. Because if you think of the other overlord that's going to be here, if nothing is spotted here, then he can obviously cover this area inside the Protoss base. And that's definitely what I'd be doing now while taking a base. But I'd still be droning because there's no reason for me to building units yet because I haven't seen what's coming. Oh, okay. So a stalker comes and pushes you back. This limits your scouting options and it starts for me to get scary. This overlord's definitely going in. So the things that you need to maybe thinking about is send this overlord in and these Zerglings maybe poke up to see if +1 attack is being researched. Is he chrono boosting the cyber core? And are we seeing any units from the gateway? If I was to poke up here and see this setup with double cannons, no chrono boost here, no chrono boost in the cyber core, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. I guess he's kind of teching up, but I don't know where. On the natural, I'd be sending my overlord this way. The problem is, your overlords may get killed off by the stalker who could come back, but that would give an opportunity for this one to go in, remember? And you'd be looking for that, the Stargate. And if you're able to see the Stargate, you know to drone, bro, drone. Just drone up because you are under no threat, immediate threat for quite a while in this game. So let's go back to you now and see what really happens. So I want to really look at your 6 lava. You've got money to spend. I would still be spending this lava, by the way. You've got money to spend. Probably build another overlord in case if you plan on sending this one in, and build more drones. Yeah, just keep on building drones. One thing that I've actually labeled down here, which I think is a little bit of a mistake from you, Alex, is that we haven't seen it yet, but the two big things that stick out for me as you as a player is your scouting technique is a little bit weak, which we're starting to see now, and your decisiveness as a player and your decisions are weak as well. Which means that you're not saying, all right, I'm going to fully commit this way, or I'm going to fully commit this way. And as a Zerg player, you need to be very precise on that. For example, if you're not going to spend lava, then you need a very good reason not to be spending it. Otherwise, you should be droning hard or building units hard. And that's something I'm going to look at and everyone else can look at for the next couple of moments. At this point, I'm definitely thinking about getting my gas, though. I'm definitely, yeah, okay, cool. Getting gas, get back in here, take this gas, maybe even take another one too, because we are going to have to get the evolution chamber. I would have thought along the layer pretty fast here, and maybe a roach warren just in case. But, okay, you've kind of got this done. But remember, right now, this hatchery is waypointed to the natural. Remember to saturate your bases properly. 16 drones in minerals, 3 in gas. Because right now, with this gas finishing, you're going to have to put 3 in there, aren't you? And that means you've only got 13 mining from your main base. That's weak. You need 3 more that can mine there. And likewise on your natural, that's something you've oversaturated here. You should be getting gas, yada, 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 yada. So anyway, you... Ooh, Sea of Phoenix. So Sea of Phoenix, it's drone city time. I think that you have 17 lava. You do get supply block with these overlords that die, but you have to be building a lot of drones here. And this is the problem that you don't do. So as these overlords pop, 3 drones, 13 lava. 3 drones, 13 lava. No drones, no units. What are you waiting for? At this, okay, why 4 drones? That's another thing I got. Why just 4? You've got 10 more lava. Why can that not be 10 more drones? Why can that number not be 14? And why can you not then go, if you look at the harvester count, why can't you go 14 workers ahead of your opponent at this point? It's a big thing here that you didn't do. And if you see, I don't know why, but you're a little bit shy and unsure to build drones or not. What are you going to build if it's not drones? Zerglings? Why would you build Zerglings? You've seen a Phoenix play. I suppose that you haven't really seen if it's going to be a gateway attack or not, but at this point, that should have been resolved from the overlords, and you definitely need to be hitting your drones harder. Because if you're not hitting your drones harder, you're not maximizing your income and economy. Okay, so from this point, we have you droning still, 14 lava in the bank. I'm looking at your hotkeys to wonder maybe if you don't have all the hatcheries hotkeyed, but you do on 0. Just make sure to spend that lava, because right now he has a better income than you. And this should never, ever, 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 ever be the case. So 6 drones again, just, you know, very slow increment of drones. 6 here, then 6 there, then 6 here, then 4 there. No, just go bam, 20 drones. Bam, 20 drones, like that. Also, look at your scouting again as a Zerg player. You've seen the Phoenix, but that's the only information you've got. You don't know what he's doing at all. What happens now if he attacks with a mass of Zealot Charge Archon or Colossus somehow pops out? So you need a lot of information. Yes, your overlords have been stopped, but this can be an overseer. So the 2 things that stick out again for me, Alex, scouting and decisiveness. These are really crucial points that you need to pick up on to improve your game. It's going to make playing the game a lot easier for you. By the way, look, you're still at only 52 drones. Very, very low drone count. He is equaling you in the economy race when that should never be the case. The reason for Zerg, you know, always wanting to be 1 base ahead, wanting to be 1 step up with the economy, but you're not being able to do that quite with the income. Why were all these Hydralisks made? What are you looking to do with these Hydralisks? Are you looking to defend with them? Are you looking to be aggressive up this ramp with them? You need to make sure as a Zerg player that every single move you make, you have a reason for it. Why are you moving down here? What's the reason? Are you looking to catch the Phoenix coming back or something? Let's hear. You do see that. So I'm not too sure the reason for this as well. So just think, why my units there? Why am I not adding on more than 59 drones and so on? And I think these things are going to help you improve much as a player. For the things that I've described throughout. And what ends up happening here is we see the spire come in, you've got the hive, but why are we building the hive? Is it just because we can, or do you have a plan to use the hive for something? Are you going to Vipers, or are you trying to go up to +3 attack, and so on and so on and so on? You clean up this guy's 3rd base, and with a Protoss player being on 2 bases, all you need to do is defend against an attack. So that would be my concern right now, is I've just seen Colossus with my units here. Or may have just seen him if I just hit the back button. Okay, maybe you didn't see them. But okay, now you do. So, my first concern is like, okay, this army is pretty strong. 4 Colossus, 5 Void, or 3 Void Rays, and 9 Mutalisks isn't the answer. Because think about this strategically right now. Are the Mutalisks going to be able to combat this heads up? Stalkers and Void Rays? No, not really. They don't really have any upgrades. They're not very powerful straight away with just 9 versus all of this. So no, the answer is. So why are you building them? And we know why you're building them, because you try to go for this counterattack with them, or you know, try to get to his probe line. But then, are you comfortable with spending that gas that you can fight this army without support of corruptors? Which is another thing. So we see the Mules go in, and we actually zip straight to where we were at the start of the show, the start of the video, right? Where the Mules came in to harass, and then we've got the Protoss army moving out, and then I asked you at the start and asked everybody, so what do you know, do you think this Roach Hydra army, this Mulus army can beat this? And the answer is no, not really, and especially when the Corruptors die off. But there was a lot of times throughout this game, for example, you're still only on 60 drones, which you should be on 70 at least at this point. So I felt that throughout this game that we saw a lack of scouting. These are the points I have to highlight here for you to improve on. Scouting and figuring out what your opponent is actually doing. Decisiveness when it comes to droning or building units. But these decisions and this decisiveness will come naturally when you fix your scouting. And I think that's the biggest problem that you encountered here in today's game. Once you're able to figure out, do I need to build units or do I need to build drones, then you're going to have a much easier time spending that lava and not adding 4 drones, then 6 drones, then 4 roaches, then 4 drones. You can do one or the other quite easily. And unfortunately, you end up losing this game through those things. So this may look to you as I didn't really know and I didn't really understand how I lost this. I can't beat the Protoss deathball army, but it's not about beating the Protoss deathball army. It's about improving yourself in the early and mid game to be set up way ahead of your opponent. And I'm pretty sure after watching this replay, if you were to take in everything that I said today, and that you go back and approach the game in a different manner, you wouldn't be, if you were to repeat this game, I think it would be much, much different for you. So I hope I was able to help you today, Alex. Please let me know if you enjoyed this video. And likewise for anybody else who's watching this, I hope you guys enjoyed this and it was informative for learning how to play Zerg properly. If you want to try to be on the show, do submit your replays to improvewithapollo@gmail.com. And hopefully you can be featured in a future episode. And of course, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because if you don't, then you may miss up on some of these videos that come out and you miss up on the opportunity to improve with Apollo. Hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. And until next time, signing out.